Aloha, mamacitas. How are you today? Thank you for being here. I'm so proud of you all for taking part of this Mamacita challenge. I'm also going to pat myself on the back because this is definitely a big endeavor for myself, and I'm excited that I get to journey with all of you beautiful souls. A little bit about me. I call myself a master soul alchemist, which means I literally go into your energy system, look at the beliefs, habits, and behaviors that you're doing, and help transform them so that then you can really go out into the other end of the world and be your best self, which is amazing. Also, I am a conscious relationship coach. So, a lot of times we have issues with our partners, our kids, our family members, our friends. And that's something that I love working on because as we create these connections with the others, we are definitely going to trigger one another. So, today I wanted to share with you guys about the process of change. And if you're here, please comment and let me know who's here so that I can say hi to you. The process of change is interesting because we're all doing this challenge, and it is definitely maybe a little slight shift in your life or maybe a huge shift in your life. And it's important to understand that we go through different changes because truly change is the one constant thing in our lives, right? And as we do this, we get a little bit anxious, afraid, scared, excited. All these feelings come up, and it's like, well, what do I do with them, right? So it's interesting because I was just reviewing this model of change that I had seen, and I love it a lot. And this process of change, it always begins with pre-contemplation. And what I mean about that is kind of like you're settling into your life. You realize like things are going pretty well. You're not really seeing anything that needs to happen, right? And this is like when we're feeling pretty good. Like all of a sudden, everything kind of works out for us. We're doing okay. We're enjoying our lives, right? And then this next phase called contemplation pops up. Hi, Daya. Thank you so much for being here today. So, um, contemplation is this place where we begin to see like something definitely needs to shift, right? There's a issue happening or a problem happening that's saying to us, hey, look at me, and this doesn't work for you anymore. So, a lot of times in this phase, we can be in a state of like, well, how am I going to do that? Like, it doesn't feel good. I feel kind of sad. I feel kind of angry. I feel kind of depressed, and I'm not sure how I want to go about doing this. And so, this is the phase where we're trying to figure out what that might look like. And we're just kind of contemplating what we might have to do, what might have to happen, right? So now we go into what's called the preparation phase. The preparation phase is where we actually have to do something about the problem. We're not just thinking about it anymore, but we have to do something. And for me, it was basically when I found out that I had some precancerous cells in my body. And I was like, no, 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 this is not going to happen to me. I am going to do whatever I can to make myself healthy again. And so this is where we might be looking up gyms, workouts, diet programs. We might start contemplating quitting like drinking or smoking or whatever it is that you're going through. And you're trying to find the best way to manage your cravings and your mood swings. And so it's all mental and emotional right now. We might even be researching therapists or, coaches at this time because we're like, well, you know what? This doesn't work for us anymore and I've got to do something about it, right? So, after the preparation phase is called the action phase. Now, the action phase can be pretty intense because if you aren't already doing something in the focus of what you want to fix, then it's like a huge life shift, right? And a lot of times, again, when we are going through change, we can get that fear, that scaredness, the anxiety come up because we've got to do things differently. So, now it's called one foot in front of the other. I say the best thing is to create micro movements. A lot of times it's not like these big, like, boom, let's do it all one time because that won't last, right? We've got to do these small micro movements that we are willing to do that then gets us on board to make the change. And the reason why I say willing is because that is where our power is at. That's where we are desiring to make the change. And if we aren't willing to do it and we're just kind of making ourselves doing it, then it's not going to stick, right? So we have to have the will to be aligned with ourselves and say we are truly going to do this for ourselves, and then put one foot in front of the other. Now, as you put one foot in front of the other, you're going to encounter like these little blocks, right? Because you're shifting and changing your life. And the old part of you is like, I was so comfortable doing all these things that I don't want to change, that I don't want to do something different, that I don't want to meet new people, I don't want to try new recipes, right? And so these parts of you are like coming up to the surface so that you can begin to take a look at them and go, hi, I see you and I get it. And you can even take a look at when this energy might have happened for you, right? If you really want to deep dive into it. And that might be some inner child work, meaning there's probably a time when you had some energy with change in your life and you didn't like it, especially when you're little and your parents were trying to make you do this and that. And um, or you had to change jobs, or you had to change states, or you had to change a home. So these have impactful sensations in your body because it remembers it, right? So as you're moving towards this new change, your body's like resistant, like, no, I remember this, I don't want to do this. And then the emotions come up, and then it keeps us like sitting on the fence. And as we're sitting on the fence, we like kind of can see a little bit of what's possible, but sometimes the fog rolls in too, right? So it's like it's crazy because change is the one constant thing. It also is one of the most difficult because again, we're shifting and changing every part of our lives from mental, spiritual, emotional, and energetics and physical, right? So we've got to take a look at these foundations and understand like what have we been doing? So I like to take at these foundational pieces, the physical aspect, and begin to like what we're doing here, create like a diet program or a physical workout that then we slowly and begin to do and create as a habit so that then it becomes more of a lifestyle. Then we take a look at our emotional body. Like, how are we treating ourselves? Are we kind to ourselves? Are we kind to others? Or are we like really not receiving support from others? Are we like punishing ourselves, right? That's the emotional piece. The mental piece is oftentimes, again, the thoughts that we have that say we can't change. Oh, you're too fat, or you're too old, or you're too this or that, and then it just replays in our mind like this wonderful recorder that just plays back to us over and over and over again. I sometimes call that the critical parent too, that's like just beating down on us, right? And it's like, okay, so those thoughts are there, though that has been also a habit, right? And I have these beliefs created on that, or created from that, and now I've got to make new shifts. So a lot of times affirmations work in this phase, but first you've got to release what you're thinking of first. So for me, it's like I release the critical parent for looking down on myself, for believing that I can't do it, because guess what? This is a new time in your life. You have a blank slate. And if we begin to set our sights on that, then we can make these changes and impress upon our new way of living, right? So instead of like, I'm so stupid, I'm so that, it's like, you know what? I'm really brave right now. And I know I got to do this and I know I can, just one step at a time, right? So little affirmations like that are really going to support you in the mental aspect, because we got to fill our mind with these new thoughts so that then it takes us on the trajectory of where we want to go. Okay? And now on the energetic level, right? A lot of times we give our energy away, meaning like all this energy that we have slept with and we're like refreshed in the morning is like going out to other people. Right? We've got to cultivate it so that it comes back to us. So a lot of times a meditation or a yoga workout or something that fuels ourself, or like these workouts that we're doing here, is really going to begin to harness that energy within ourselves so that we actually have more energy to give to, you know, our families or to work or to whatever is in front of us, right? Because then you have this beautiful flow, an infinite supply coming through you, and then you know what to give to others, right? And then the spiritual level, a lot of times we forget to connect in with source, creator, God, or whatever it is that you believe in. and being quiet for a moment and just allowing your mind to be still and empty out, right? Again, if the mental chatter is going, then we got to breathe in through our body, let the breath of life like infuse our spirit and allow ourselves to just calm down and relax, knowing that like truly full on we are taken care of by the universe, that the universe has our back, and that we're in a place where this is exactly where we need to be at the right moment in time. I call it divine timing. So when you focus on all those things and take action on those pieces, then this beautiful next stage comes upon us, which is called the maintenance. So maintaining things is definitely a powerful aspect, because as we're maintaining, which means we're creating boundaries with ourselves and others, making sure that we have a little bit of discipline and structure into our lives, right? I literally have to go into my phone, into my calendar, and schedule time for me. So basically, this is my eating time, this is my workout time, so that then everything else, you know, won't take precedence over it, especially if you're trying to make this change, right? So you want to schedule these things in, create a daily habit so that then you are focusing on you and what it is that your goal is, right? And then from there, after the maintaining piece, is sometimes what's called a relapse. So I'm not gonna lie, because once we start getting in the swing of things and we maintain things, like all of a sudden we start feeling good, right? How often do we start feeling good? We might start feeling healthy and strong, that we are like, well, we can slip a little, right? And that's when the dun 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 happens, because then all of a sudden you slip a little, and then you slip a little more, and then you slip a little more, and then boom, full blown, like back into the old way of doing things, right? Now, it's not something to beat yourself up about, it's a notice, because what I found in my own ways of changing things is that, I get on this program, I'm doing really well, again, I feel really good, and then I start to slide. But over the years, my slide hasn't been so drastic. So I remember doing the Candida diet many years ago, and I did it for a whole like 3 months straight, and I was super excited. And right at the 3 months, like boom, full blown out back into like all the foods, and it took me a year to recover and come back. And then when I tried it again this time around, I was able to do it for 10 months. And then I messed up for 2 months, right? But because I caught myself so quickly, then I'm right back on track, right? So it's noticing that sometimes the relapse phase has different measures depending on what it is that you're doing. Because oftentimes the relapse phase, what I found is that this is our coping mechanism, right? Sometimes we don't feel like we're deserving of an amazing life. Sometimes we feel we're so unworthy, and that when we get to that point where we feel really good, there's this like trigger inside of us that probably brings us back to some kind of trauma that says, again, you're not good enough, you're not worthy. And remember when all this happened to you? Then it brings us back into these coping mechanisms, and they sneak back in, like eating unhealthily, or coping with addictive substances, or drinking a lot, or whatever it is, shopping a lot, that then brings us back down to our knees, right? However, when you can catch that phase and not beat up on yourself, the important thing is acceptance. When you can accept yourself and know that those are parts of you, but it's not you, that then you can begin to love yourself again and make the change and transformation. So oftentimes too, with the relapse, sometimes you might have been doing something so rigidly, meaning like there was no wiggle room, that you were like so focused, so there, that then we can't uphold that all the time, and we need a little break. But if you can again catch yourself when you're doing that little break, and just give yourself a little grace, but remind yourself to get back on board, then it helps. Like I remember doing cheat days, right? And the problem is you call them cheat days, and then your brain gets tricked into this energy of like, oh, it's a cheat day, and then it's like, but I can cheat here too, and I can cheat here too. So we gotta watch ourselves, especially if you are sneaky, right? I've myself sneaky and I can take little words like that and like subconsciously do something else. So be mindful of that, because then that's when the major fallback and relapse goes into place, right? So sometimes when we are too rigid, we got to reconfigure what it is that we're doing and come back to a place where, again, we're willing and we're on board with it, so that then we're literally going to be able to do it all the time because it supports us. And or we need to reconfigure things because maybe you've been doing one thing for so long that you are actually getting bored, and that happens too, right? So that's why we switch things up and change things up. So if this is something that resonates with you, let me know, okay? So now, after this relapse, we get back on board in maintaining and taking action and maintaining, and then we kind of cycle back through the thing again where it's like we're pre-contemplating, like everything is okay, we're actually good, life is good, and then there might be an issue that comes up, and then you go full circle around. So it's super good things to take notice of. I just wanted to give you a little bit of the process to maybe help you through this, because oftentimes if we don't know what's really going on, then we can slide back, go back into our old coping mechanisms, and then full blown quit and let go of what the progress that we have created. And especially with this beginning phase, for me, it's like as I'm introducing all of this, I've really got to make room for it, and it can be overwhelming because you're already probably doing a lot of things in your life, right? And to add another thing, it's like, oh God. So you might feel a little more tired, you might feel a lot more overwhelmed, but I promise you it's going to start shifting again. A lot of you are mamas, right? So think about it, like you were single, you're fine, you're able to take care of yourself, and then you introduced having a child, and then all of a sudden all of the things that you wanted to do are no longer in that space, and you had to compromise, negotiate, and calibrate to this new level of being. And it takes time, right? That's what happens. So I'm really excited that you got to listen to this. And again, let me know in the comments, if you resonate with this information, and maybe, you've been doing this for a while and your phase might be, you're at the maintenance program. So let me know what phase you think you're in, okay? So now I'd like to end with a meditation, and this is a meditation on awareness. So I invite you to take a seat wherever you are. You can sit cross-legged in your chair and just relax, right? Place your palms open on your lap. Make sure your spine is straight, and then close your eyes. Taking a deep breath in through your nose to a count of 4. And releasing out to a count of 4. Again, in through your nose to a count of 4. And breathing out through your mouth to a count of 4. We're going to just continue breathing at this pace and allowing your whole body to relax. And we're going to pay attention to our body at this time. A lot of times with our body, we can feel the things that are going on that can give us an idea of what's actually happening in our bodies. And we're also going to pay attention to our emotions, that as we scan through our bodies, we notice as we look with our inner eye, if these areas have emotional sensations to it. And then lastly, we're going to pay attention to our thoughts, especially as we go through our body if a certain thought pops up. So this is perfect because our mind wants to jump to probably our to-do list or what's going on with, Betty or Jane, but we want to come back to ourselves. And if we can give it a couple of jobs to go inward, then it gets really busy with looking at yourself. So we're going to start at the top of our head, and I call it the crown center, which is where our 7th chakra is. We're going to allow a beautiful light to come through the heavens into the top of our head and into that crown chakra, which is right in the middle of your head. And as this beautiful white light pours into the top of your head, It's going to relax every single part of you, from your forehead to your eyes, your cheekbones, your ears, your jaw, your lips, your chin, your neck. And now this beautiful white light is pouring over your shoulders, relaxing your shoulders, down through your arms, relaxing your arms and your fingers, and moving through your chest area, into your belly, into your hips, your sacral region, down to your thighs, your knees, your calves, your feet, and your toes, and moving into the ground below you. And as this beautiful white light is purifying you, I want you to bring yourself back into your body and begin to scan your body. Again, starting with the top of your head and moving downward. Again, noticing if there's any aches or pains or tensions that are running through you. Noticing where you might be relaxed in one area or tensed up in another. And then allowing your attention to go to that space. Tuning in to see if there's an emotion that comes up. And if so, allowing yourself to breathe into that spot deeply and acknowledging that feeling. And you can even say out loud, I feel, and for me it's sadness, or I feel angry, or I feel fear. And just allowing that beautiful energy to consume you. Your feelings are not who you are. They're just old, fragmented parts of you that have been left in your childhood or in your 20s or in your teens. Just allowing yourself to just be with it. And as you're breathing into this space, notice your thoughts. Notice if it brings back a memory. Acknowledge that memory and just say thank you. And let it release. Again, breathing into this spot, allowing a beautiful pink light to fill this space. And this pink light is full of unconditional love. And as this pink light engulfs this region, we now can bring our attention to another area of our body. Find that spot that might feel a little cold or tensed or achy or has some pain, and bring your attention to that area. Again, notice if there is an emotion or feeling that comes up as you tap into that spot. And then say out loud, I feel, again, we're going to keep it simple, sad, I feel angry, or I feel fear. And of course, there's probably many derivatives of emotions and feelings that are coming to your mind, but if you can simplify it, it's better because those are the pieces that are probably calling to you more. We just need to simplify it, not overthink it, just simplify the feeling. And then breathing into that area. And now moving to the mental state, noticing if there's a memory or even a thought that comes up. And as that thought comes up, say thank you, I see you, and then let it release. And now again, bringing beautiful pink light into that area, allowing unconditional love to soothe the space and engulf the whole region, taking away the pain taking away the emotions, taking away the thoughts. And now we're going to do this to one more part of your body, looking into where it's saying, pick me, and focus your attention there. Breathing into that space. Noticing if there's a feeling that's coming up for you. Again, simplifying it to say out loud, I feel sad, or I feel angry, or I feel fear. Breathing into that emotion and releasing it out with your breath. Letting the emotion overwhelm your whole entire body and releasing it again with your breath. And now tuning into your mind, seeing if there's any thoughts or memories that are popping up. Just taking notice, seeing it for what it is, and saying thank you, and I release you. Again, keep focusing on your breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Now calling in a beautiful pink light into that same area, letting it fill all the cells in that space, allowing it to penetrate through the pain or the suffering or even the emotions, and filling it with unconditional love. And now I want you to bring your attention to your heart region and placing your hands at your heart and letting yourself know and saying out loud, I am with you. I acknowledge you. I accept you. I forgive you. And I love you. And letting all that energy through your heart, opening up your heart chakra, filling yourself, your whole entire body with pink unconditional love. Breathing in this energy, breathing out with a sigh. Again, breathing in through your nose, breathing out with a sigh. Place your hands back in your lap, and then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. You're probably going to feel a little bit lightheaded because as we were doing this, I was doing some energy work on you, clearing some of the blockages in your body, allowing your body to just settle into this change, into this love that you're pouring into yourself. And this is something you can do, on the daily, especially if you have pain in your body, really giving your undivided attention and awareness to yourself, acknowledging yourself so that you build this relationship to yourself and your body, and giving this love to yourself. So I am so excited that you are here with me today. Thank you so much for joining me. I will come on again and do another teaching and meditation next week, and I'll let you guys know when. But thank you, and thank you, replay viewers, and I hope you have a fantastic Friday. Love you all. Bye. Take care.